Welcome to the Smart Influencer podcast. I'm Christina.
And I'm Corinne.
And together we help digital entrepreneurs streamline their businesses, maximize revenue, and finally feel in control of their time.
Every week, we share tried and true strategies, proven systems, and expert interviews to help you grow your influence and income without the burnout. So if you're ready to get smarter about how you run your business, you're in the right place.
Now, before we dive in, if you love what you hear, be sure to hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you find today's conversation helpful, be sure to share it with a friend who could use it too.
So today we are chatting with Tara Bench from Foodie Creatives and Tara Teaspoon, and we're going to be talking about community collaboration and retreats. And I really like the way we're coming at retreats today because it's not just a why we need this to relax and like it's a great mindset thing, but really why this is an important part of your strategy, or it should be. So super excited. Welcome to the show, Tara. To get started, how about you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Thanks for having me. Let's see a bit about myself. I come from a background professionally of publishing. I was a food editor at magazines for many years, Martha Stewart magazine, and I was the food director at Ladies Home Journal magazine before it closed. And I loved food publishing. And so when I left, it was a long road to get into digital publishing and content creation. But I love that now, and I have had to self-educate and really learn a completely new industry. But I haven't ever left my roots, and so I 50% of my business is blogging and running Tara Teaspoon, and the other part is I still do consulting for food brands, meaning content creation and whitelisting and things for food brands. So I kind of have my finger in every pie, and I love it.
Very cool.
Yeah, you do. There's so much that you do that is so different than um most food bloggers that I've interacted with. And I love that your experience is so different and you're really like based in that traditional like magazine publication writing.
Yeah, it's fun to see where everybody comes to this from
Hmm.
and comes to their business from because we all bring different experience, and I went to school for cooking and culinary arts, and a lot of people are self-taught and get into that. And I had a career in publishing and uh, was sitting across the table from marketers and PR, and so I got that experience, and it's played a big part in growing my own business. So we all bring different things to the table.
Right, right. And that is like Christine and I say this all the time, like the podcast is one of the reasons we love the podcast is because we love this community. Like we love this online space and all the people in it and how generous people are with what they know, how diverse everyone is. And like I think it's so cool how different everybody makes money and how they come at different things. So like let's start there, talking a little bit about that, especially since you've seen such a broad scope of like who does what in this space. Like what about like we're introverts, right? Like it's very lonely. So let's talk about that community and collaboration and how we foster that in this space.
Yeah, I love that there are so many opportunities for that. I think as a group, food bloggers, content creators, we have created masterminds and retreats and conferences, right? There are a lot of ways to come at that community and learning aspect and our unique position in the industry. So, I mean, I'd love to talk about what all of those are and do for each of us. I've been to conferences, I have been to several kinds of retreats, and I have been in mastermind groups. And I think it's fun how they morph and change into what you need in your business at that time. You get different, I get different benefits from
Right.
them.
Yeah.
Conferences are often inspirational for me, motivating, and they're so overwhelming that I usually come away with bits of useful information, but a lot of times I just kind of go for that general networking, seeing a lot of people in my industry, and I think masterminds are where I get the nitty-gritty or smaller retreats, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Kern and
Yeah.
I are always the one thing we say is we love the hotel lobby part of getting together, right? That's where the real learning I think happens is in that lobby when everybody's just open sharing and sharing what's working for them right now and being able to walk away with that is priceless.
And hotel lobbies at a conference, right?
At a
Like
Yeah,
at a
well,
at a
yeah,
bigger event,
you can go to the
right?
local Holiday Inn and see what you can pick up, but
good luck on that one.
It's the new bar for the
you're not going to get
businesswoman.
much in northeastern Pennsylvania, I'll tell you that much.
No, no, you're absolutely
But
right.
yes, I
And
mean at events.
yeah, I started Foodie Creatives, which is a smaller sort of food blogger retreat experience. I started it with a friend, and we both started with that exact premise. We
Hmm.
sat there and we thought, we love when we're sitting around with our laptops with our friends at a big conference.
Yeah.
That's where we learn things. That's where we really get take home actionable information. And so that really was what it was is yes, there are a lot of retreats where you can go to a mountain home and sit for three
Right.
days with your friends and their laptops, and that's awesome. And we kind of decided, oh, Tara, you live in New York City. I live in this amazing, inspirational food city. And so we structured it around that inspiration of, the hotel lobby, hotel, you
Yep.
know, kind of learning experience, and then saying, wow, we can add so much by being in New York City. And so that's kind of where it started
Yeah.
from.
I
So
love
let's back up just a step because I feel like because we have episodes, right, Christina, on mastermind groups, on like what to do for a conference, like how to prep for that, what you should look to get out of it. Because like you said, Tara, like they all have a place, right? Like they all like fill your cup in a different way. The conferences, by all means, like while you have the hotel lobby moments and those, like it's what Christina and I like best about that. You go to the conference though for the networking and for the motivation, right? Like the rah-rah, the inspiration. That's why you go to a conference and then you look for the nuggets in the hotel lobby conversations. Masterminds, it's all nuggets, right? Like it's all like, and then like staying committed to that. But then some of the accountability. Like retreats to me are that sweet spot in the middle,
Yeah.
right? Like where you get all those nuggets and you apply them in a very dedicated work session. So like we don't have to sustain this momentum for a quarter for the whole year like you're looking to do in a mastermind group. And that's why I think no matter whether you're doing either of those pieces, like you're going to conferences, you're in a mastermind group, there's still room for that retreat because it does something a little bit different. Do you agree?
And Corinne, there are different kinds of retreats. When
Yeah.
we set out to create our own, retreat is a funny word because there are, let's name them. There are ad network sponsored
Mhm.
retreats. There are retreats that mastermind groups just put together. There are retreats that have sponsored, other sponsors and brands that come in and cover costs and present. And so there's a variety, and we took all of those and put them into Foodie Creatives. I mean, we created this unique experience where I say this experience rather than retreat is something that fosters growth, creativity, and connection. And it elevates your craft and your business because you are networking with your own peers. We bring in brand sponsors and you're networking with potential partners in the industry. And we bring in experts to speak to us about specific things. So you're also learning those skills. On top of that, we're out in the city. We're going to places to do prop shopping, get inspired by new food at amazing restaurants. We're going to fun candy stores and spice markets and things that, only New York has to offer. And so I renamed it an experience rather than a retreat because there are so many different kinds of retreats.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and that an experience I feel like sums up better what you're doing because retreat to me is you're holed up somewhere, like focused on
Oh, you're
something.
not
Right.
holed up.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Christina, you've been to Foodie Creatives.
I
They're
have.
different every year, but yes, you could speak to that. We're not holed up.
You are not holed up. You will get your 30 steps, 30,000 steps in no time every single day. But I will say the thing, I was very honest with you, Tara, last year
Yeah.
when I came to your event. I said
Yeah.
I didn't come with high expectations, and I say that with love. Like I just came because it was very close to where I live. New York City is just 2 hours away. It was easy to get to, but I didn't know anybody there. I didn't know anybody. Like I've heard of the names on the list, but I didn't actually know them to like have had a conversation with them before.
Yeah.
So when I got there, like I said, I didn't have high expectations. And I will say this to all the listeners out there. If you're shy, if you're an introvert, don't be afraid to do it because this was the best experience ever. There was so much activity going on, so many things to do. You didn't have time to be shy.
Yeah.
And you were just forced to get to know and in the nicest way possible. You were forced to know everybody and to make new friends and really like it was truly an immersive experience. It was and I said this at the end, it was probably one of the best, most well-produced events that I've been to in a long time. And I walked away with so much more than I could have expected.
Well, thank you so much. Thanks for saying that. This will be my third year doing it, and the first 2 years were both different from each other.
Hmm.
And so I'm looking at that and, hearing feedback from you and other attendees, and saying, what do I keep in there? What is a
Hmm.
must keep, and what do we change? And there are a few things like I do want it to be that work learn
Yeah.
situation, and it's also New York, so we're go go go, but it's a balance between how many hours do we sit in the Airbnb and work together and learn from each other when you know there's value in walking around the city together and sitting on the subway together talking about your business and
Yeah.
having these adventures and applying your experiences and your these spice market
Mhm.
wanderings to your business. So I like the mix, and I can't guarantee that it will be the same experience you had this year. It's going to
Well,
be different.
and I hope it is because
Yeah.
it's almost like you take that, like I mentioned, the hotel lobby experience, taking that, but literally onto the street.
Yeah.
I mean, you're having those conversations with people. Like every time you're walking somewhere, you're paired up with somebody different because it's New York City street, so it's very tight. So you're
Yep.
usually two by two, so you're paired up with somebody different and you're getting ideas and getting to know other people's businesses and idea swapping and with somebody new every single time. And it's like it's
Yeah.
forced, but it's not, it's like I said, in the best way.
And I think I like that your experience reflected what I was trying to do. At a conference, yes, you're meeting new people.
Hmm.
At one of those sit down, do nothing else retreats, you're meeting new people, but it's a slower pace. And so
Yeah.
you're not invested as much in like, I need to find out everything about you right now because you're new to me. So it allows for some of that intense peer to peer,
Yeah.
connection. But also shared experiences
Hmm.
are a very powerful thing.
Yeah.
We have shared experiences because we all are food bloggers or content creators and work in the food world. But how fun to have shared experiences of walking through the Good Housekeeping test kitchens and experiencing that together,
Yeah.
or, walking through and seeing these shops that might inspire your next recipe together and things like that. So it's
Yeah.
fun.
Okay, so I haven't been. So
You
like
should
lay
go.
it out like so I've got a couple details, right? You do it in New York, there is an Airbnb involved. There's some walking around, but what in general? And I know you said the experience may change, but how many days are we talking? What is the cadence of, in general? Like is there a day where you're all in? Is there a day that you're all out? Is it a mix each day? Like give me the deets as someone who doesn't know anything about it.
So great questions. It is three pretty packed full days, but it spans 5 days. So we have you come in on the first day in the afternoon, check in. We go to a lovely dinner that night or have a lovely dinner that night. So that's like a quarter of a day, right?
Mhm.
And then the next few days, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, is what we pack with all of the things. And then Sunday is checkout and you can travel home. So that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we are doing things like tours around the city, like I mentioned, going to the Good Housekeeping Institute's headquarters in the Hearst Tower and being able to see this legacy of, this publishing industry and testing and consumer reporting type of things. And that's really fun. We will go on excursions to different food venues. We eat out most of the time. And so
So
we're
much
eating,
food.
yeah, so much food. We're tasting things. You can't walk around New York City without bopping into your favorite bakery or pizza shop and just tasting it at least, before you walk by it and pass it. We do virtual meetings. So back while we're sitting at our Airbnb location, which is a fun New York City townhouse, we'll have brands and experts pipe in through Zoom and learn from them and connect with them. We have brand sponsors that create activations for us. We did a cooking class last year. The year before, it was a awesome presentation on brand marketing from a brand that works with us. So you get for the brands that come in, we get that one-on-one relationship building. So these turn into partnerships throughout the rest of the year. You're meeting new PR people from brands or brand representatives and saying, I like to do content creation. I like this product.
Mhm.
Let's partner in some way. And so you can create that relationship. Um, I'm looking at the schedule right now to see what else we do.
I'm
Oh yeah,
excited.
and talk to me about schedule. How I'm a morning person, so you cannot name a time in the morning that would be too early for me, but I'm curious. And then how late? Because that's where this girl taps out. How many hours are we moving and grooving?
Both prepare to wake up early and go to bed late.
Okay.
Sorry, it's three packed
You
days.
packed the 3 days. Gotcha.
And I do say that there are opportunities to head home.
Yeah.
If we're out in the middle of the city, there are opportunities to head home and rest. We're all independent women, and you can take part in the full schedule or parts of it. So we let you know what that schedule is ahead of time. We do love that everyone participates in the brand sponsored opportunities because those are really important to this experience. But yeah, if we're walking around New York for the next 3 hours, popping into shops and doing taste tests and things, you could go home and rest. You could sit in the park and we'll meet up later, things like that. So it is go, go, go. And then we'll have a dinner at night. One of the nights we go to a Broadway show. The closing night, last year we did karaoke. We might do something else another night, walk around in the park. I will say that there is flexibility. So one morning we were going to do early morning yoga in the park. But guess what? Everyone, including the morning people, were so exhausted. So we nixed the yoga in the park. So there are built-in things that are flexible, but it is intense. And it's meant to be. It's New York
Right.
City. And you're investing a lot of time and money
Right.
into this, and you want to get the most out of it.
I
Yeah.
have a question about that, and I won't ask specifically about price because we'll have the website. People can go look, and I know that it will probably change over time. But in terms of what's included in that, because you talked about eating out a lot, like having, like going to a Broadway show. So when someone books a ticket, like when they like apply and get a space, how much then extra is above and beyond that? How much of that's included?
That's a great point, and it's all right on the homepage of foodiecreatives.com.
Okay.
I tell you what's included, the ticket price, and then that covers your 4 nights lodging in New York City at the townhouse, all meals. You don't have to go out and find your own food.
Wow. You will
And
not
in
be
fact,
hungry
yeah,
ever. Midnight snack, you're covered.
Wow.
You will never be hungry.
there are a lot of snacks. There's food, more food than you can imagine. You're well fed. So it covers all of that. It covers all of the workshops and presentations and experiences and tours around the city. We do food tours and I lead tours. It covers those networking promotions, the Broadway show, if we go to one. It
So you
covers,
just have to get there and bring
yeah,
souvenir money.
there
Yep.
you go. There you
Gotcha.
go. Yes.
And your Subway.
And Subway.
Okay.
So that was too hard to pay
Yeah.
for everyone's travel because we're all, 13 or 10 of us are going down into the subway and swiping and getting in. So there's a nominal cost for covering your
Yeah.
transportation. And then if you want to get home in a cab and take a break or anything like that, you need to cover that. But yes, travel to New York is expensive. So you're in charge of your flight.
Right.
And if you come in a day early or you want to stay later, you cover your own hotel
Right.
and all of that. And we have had people do that because this is not a tier 1 New York City tour. I am
Right.
not taking you to the Statue of Liberty and the Empire State Building,
Right.
right? I am I am leveling up your New York experience. And there
Right.
are some people who've never been here. And so they want a few extra days
Yeah.
before or after to do
Right.
some of those fun New York things.
But you're also going into like the fun places you probably wouldn't get to if you were going, on a family trip to sightsee and do the touristy things. Like one of my favorite things was the spice market we went to. I mean,
Yes.
it was this, I don't even know how to describe it. It was
Well, it was an
floor to,
international market. Yeah.
yeah, it was floor to ceiling spices for like 4 floors. You were these little goat paths through there. If it grew anywhere in this great planet that we live on, it was in a bag or a bottle in that room.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, and ridiculously affordable.
Yes.
That's
Yes. So
amazing.
come with, I always say this, not only do we as a retreat give you swag and gifts, which is so fun, but you'll want to buy things. And I'm always like, bring a collapsible suitcase, bring an extra suitcase, something like that. And every year we have people who are like, I only do check-ons. And I'm like, bad choice.
Right. They're going to be upset when you go
Yeah,
home.
it's
Yeah.
New York City.
Yeah.
So,
That's amazing.
It was truly like I said, one of the best, if not the best events that I've been to in a long time. I just felt like I got so much out of it. My cup was full. I felt, motivated. I felt inspired. I had fun. I never laughed as much as I did. I made some great friends. And like I said, I came there knowing no one. It was like way outside of my comfort zone. So for me, that was a lot to like go to, into the big bad city all by myself
yeah.
and shack up with 13 strangers. I mean, it's it's like the
Yeah,
real
let
world here.
alone sharing a room. It's a
Right.
tiny New York townhouse, right? So
Oh
I
yeah.
say on the application, are you comfortable sharing a bed or a room with someone? And I encourage people to come as friends,
Yeah.
like grab a friend and say, yeah, we'll share a king bed or we'll share a room.
Yeah.
And if you have that, relationship with somebody and or come by yourself
Yeah.
and you will make
Make a friend.
connections that you will keep in your business
Hmm.
and life
Oh, I've
forever.
stayed in touch with just about everybody there,
Yeah.
throughout the year. It's been fabulous. And I'm hoping I see some familiar faces the next time, but I'm also hoping I see some new faces and get to
Yeah.
meet new people because it was that great. And I'm not just blowing smoke. I mean, I really felt inspired.
So
Well, thanks.
because it's a
That's great.
townhouse, how many people maximum do you accept for it?
Well, for the retreat experience in general, I only accept up to 10. And this year, I actually have a few more spots left. So it is still open if you want those last few spots. But 10 is the max, and it is for various reasons. Number one, yes, the Airbnb has a maximum limit of people that I can put in it,
Mhm.
but also there just isn't space to move around New York City, to stay in New York City
Yeah.
with more than that.
Right.
Um, Restaurants can't accommodate big groups. Um, we would have to make it more like a conference, and I
Right.
didn't want to do that. I wanted this to be an intimate experience, both for the attendees and for the sponsoring brands or the attending brands, because I am really fostering relationships between you and brands that have potential to be your partners and to diversify your income. That's very important to me, and I
Mhm.
wanted it to be important in this experience.
Yeah.
And I know you have an application process. Like, who is your ideal attendee? Like, what are you looking for in that application?
That's great. And everybody should take a look at that application. I ask specific questions. It doesn't necessarily mean you're in or you're out. For the most part, I welcome anyone to come at any level of blogging. Um, the first few years, we were a little more concerned with, hey, do you have a big social following? Are you going to benefit these brands that are sponsoring? Will you share them? And that's a little hard to control, to be honest. I'll be very transparent. Um, I want a diverse group of people, and not all successful content creators or bloggers have amazing traffic or amazing social media numbers.
Right.
And they're still valuable businesses and they're still valuable to brands as micro influencers. So, in general, I do ask those things, but it doesn't preclude anyone. I ask you if you're willing to work with brands, if you have ever worked with brands. I ask you if you're willing to share your knowledge with others in that peer-led learning experience. I ask you if you're ready for 3 full days of running around New York City. And you can answer whatever you want. I have only turned away one person who kind of had, responses to all of my questions that it didn't fit,
Right.
and it wasn't a
Right. You're
fit
like, you're
for
not
the
going to
group.
enjoy this event. It's not,
Yep.
yeah.
It wasn't a fit for the group and it wasn't a fit for the,
Yeah.
business. But yeah, I deal with any challenge that comes my way, which to me, as the manager of this experience and the host, I don't preclude you if you have a special diet. I will still figure out how to feed you all throughout New York. Or if your blog is super niche or specific and it doesn't match the brands, still come and be participatory and share. And so, yeah, everyone is welcome. The application process is pretty darn simple. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's in April leading into May, is that
Yeah.
right?
it is this year, it's April 29th through May 3rd.
Is it
And
generally around the same time of the year?
it is, and we did that for a few reasons. Fall is hard. Most people are getting kids into school or dealing
Right.
with college students still home or headed off to college. Um, Earlier spring, it's just kind of cold in New York and we're out and
Yeah.
about. So I wanted it to be kind of perfect weather. Summer is way too hot in New York. I'm not going to deal with that. And people are, taking a break from work or they're dealing with family at home, away from school and things like that. So lots of different reasons. And I think in this discussion, we can talk about how so many retreats are popping up around this time of year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you might be overwhelmed by, well, they're all in April and May or whatever. They really are, because that's a
Right.
really ideal time to sort of
Mhm.
get away from home, take some time to learn and put some effort into your business away from home.
Yeah.
And for me, anyway, from living in the Northeast, it eliminates the whole, well, it doesn't eliminate, it panks down the possibility of snow impacting travel. I'll
Yes.
never forget, I had tickets to a conference. This was a long time ago, and it was in the middle of like the winter season. And we got hit with this huge snowstorm, and there were no flights going in and out. And I was having to miss the first 2 days because I couldn't get
Oh,
there because
yes.
of weather.
Yes.
So, I mean, when we were planning the Smart Influencer Summit, that was something that played into our planning as well, just making sure that people can actually travel. Now, you
Which
can't
is
guarantee.
also in April.
Yeah,
Yes,
right.
it
But
is.
you can't guarantee that there's not going to be snow in April in northeastern Pennsylvania, but the
Yeah.
chances of it
For the
are
most
lower.
part, yeah. Yeah, we're not getting the big
Yeah.
nor'easter. It might be a spring skiff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that plays a big part in it. And I think it's worth talking about, how do you decide which experience or which
Right.
retreat? And I don't know, maybe you guys have some insight into that. I obviously have curated this experience of foodie creatives specifically, but each of them have their pluses and minuses.
Yeah.
Right. So let's talk about that for a second, because I
Yeah.
do think it's worthy of discussion. Like, we're throwing a summit and it's not for everyone, right? Like, I think a lot of it is the phase of where you're at. Like, so for like, let's start with yours. Like, so for your retreat, what is the ideal like stage of business or state of mind that you're, I guess state of mind, because we've already said it's open to all stages of business. But what state of mind do you need to be in so that this opportunity is one you can run with and do something with?
Yeah, I think you have to be ready and at a point in your business where you have that little extra money to invest in yourself and in something
Mhm.
that will change the trajectory of your business. And not everyone is there. I mean, it's several $1,000s as a ticket, but New York is expensive, and
Mhm.
I got it as cheap as I could. But you have to be ready to invest in that time. It's it's kind of for me a little vacation slash work retreat, and it's a write-off. So I think that's one deciding factor for my retreat. I think another one is, if you want to, like Christina said, make some new close relationships
Mhm.
with people that are also at that level. These turn into, Marco Polo groups or little mini mastermind groups that you
Mhm.
have this group to rely on. And not all retreats will give you that when you leave
Yeah.
because they'll either be they'll be at a different level than you. They aren't going to go to the next conference with you, so you can't connect again, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, it really is. And you talked about investing into your business, and I think that that's what's important to look at too, especially now when our revenue streams are kind of in flux, like with everything going on. I think it's more important now than ever to go to events like this and learn about alternative ways and see how other influencers and bloggers are being creative and making their businesses work, and what expenses they're able to cut out of their budgets that maybe you didn't think about, or just better ways to run your business more efficiently and effectively. That is one of the things I walked away with, is just talking with different people and how they run their businesses. And I know I got a lot of great ideas on ways that I could trim up my own kind of house and get it all in order.
Yeah,
So for me,
people
that
walk
was huge.
away. I think that's great. People walk away from this retreat the last few years with all sorts of feedback.
Yeah.
The first year we had a lot of peer-led learning sessions, and an expert in Pinterest changed everybody's minds about how they approach Pinterest. And this last year we had experts in email strategy
Hmm.
and SEO, and to be able to have those experts come in and speak to you in a small group
Yeah.
without competition of questions. Everybody can be on the same page. Every question asked is specific to you. It's just this amazing intimate group and learning
Yeah.
experience.
So I like the examples you gave too, Christina, like of what to look for at any event. Because Christina and I have talked about this, like because we went on a couple of years ago, like we were speaking at a lot of conferences. It was a lot of time. It was a big investment to be traveling, and like always, we're talking about ROI, right? Like we got to get our
Yep.
ROI out of this. And it's a little tricky sometimes with events like these because it's not, you can't always necessarily do a dollar for dollar, right? Like
Right.
I spent this much to go, and then within 30 days, I made this much back. It's not that type of ROI.
Mhm.
But we've also said, like, if you go to any event, even if you chose poorly, right? Like if you choose an event, like I'm going to risk it, I'm going to go to this event. I get there, the sessions aren't really what I wanted to talk about. Like the people are in different niches. If you leave any type of event, a retreat, a conference, and you didn't get something substantive you can use in your business, you did it wrong. Like
Right.
Christine, I know you said this very hard, like not harshly. You didn't mean for it to be harsh, but some people took it harsh at a recent retreat. Like, how did you not get something out of this? Because there are the connections that you make, even if like we went to FinCon one year, which is so outside of our space. That is probably one of the conferences I learned the most
Me
at
too.
because people are outside our space. They do things differently, and you can
Mhm.
take that and apply it here.
Mhm.
So, like, I think, like, while it's valuable to vet for, okay, like,
Hmm.
am I a food blogger, right? Like, if I'm not a food blogger, probably not coming to Foodie Creative. But like, if you cross that hurdle, right? Like, okay, I'm a food creator. Can I afford it? Right?
Yeah.
Like, you have to be able to afford it without hurting yourself. Can I afford it? Yes. Like, if you show up then with everything that you've got planned, how do you not get something substantive out of that? So the crux of it, and I think Christina, this is why we built the summit the way we did. We wanted people to actually get stuff done because the thing that we see a lot, like at any conference ever, it's more common, I think, in conferences because it's so much motivation. Everybody wants to be motivated. You're super motivated, then you get on the plane, you come back and you have to do dishes and clean and do laundry, and all that motivation fizzes away. And
Absolutely.
you don't have anything that's done. You have a lot of big ideas that now you don't have the rah-rah cheerleaders propelling you forward to do them. So like for our summit, that was why we need them to implement. So you go home with like you run halfway down the field already. Why not carry it to the the goalpost?
Yep.
Oh,
Mixing up all
sports.
kinds of metaphors now.
Yep, exactly. I think, I love the idea of a flywheel. I'm always attributing
Yes.
that to parts of my
Yeah.
business. On a bike or something where you get that wheel going. It's a fan wheel, a flywheel, and you have to work hard and you have to pedal hard to get there, and then it starts going and spinning and spinning.
Yes.
And then it's so much easier to pedal.
Yeah.
And then if you slow down and you stop pedaling, of course, then it slows down and you have to put more effort into it and you have to put more effort into it. And I think that's obviously we have that in our business longevity. We've got times where the flywheel is spinning, things are working, it's easier. And then if we slow down or we hit a hiccup or an algorithm changes, whoa, we have to start pedaling really hard
Mhm.
again. And I feel like retreats, experiences, summits, masterminds are all things that they kind of might slow us down, but that pedaling is worth so much more after you leave that it can really get your business going. And so, yes, take a break, take a few days to travel to your summit, Foodie Creatives, do a retreat. And don't worry about, oh my gosh, but I'm not posting every day. And what am I going to do? I have so much laundry piling up and everything. Yes, and you will have to pedal a little harder, but you are going to walk away so much more enriched, inspired, with a little fire under you, and it will help.
Well, it's funny. You went a different direction on the flywheel example than I thought you were going to go. Because, like, you're like, in terms of home, right? Like, yes, that flywheel stopped while I went on travel, but I see all of those things as spinning the flywheel of my business much
Hmm.
faster.
Yeah,
Like, and we see it too in groups. Like, this is where like it matters. This is where it matters that you choose the right things, that you choose the right people. Like,
yeah,
who is leading it and what energy are they bringing to it? Because if you're in and I'm going to use Facebook groups as an example because this is where you see the doom and
yeah,
gloom a lot. Where like if you surround yourself with those people that all they see are all they're all fear mongers,
yeah.
right? Like then that's what you start to feel. But if you're in the right group, you're at the right retreat, you're in the right mastermind, all you have is motivation. And that keeps you out. Like when you're tired, I don't want to pedal anymore. I've got to do, as Christina says, this other thing that's 14 steps. Everything we do is at least 14 steps. I got to go to three different platforms. You're exhausted.
Yeah,
That's when those people come in and they help you with the pedaling. They
yeah.
don't actually do the work for you, but that's where you hear the idea. You hear that someone else is having success with it. You hear that somebody else like did finish it and look at what result they're getting. It keeps the flywheel going in your business.
I love that perspective too. That's
You
so
know,
great.
and when you think about the people that are at an event like this, they've also made the investment of time and money to
Mhm.
be there. So
Mhm.
they're equally as committed as you are. So it's not like belonging to a free open group where you could have anybody and everybody in all levels of commitment. You have people
Mhm.
that have truly committed just as much money and time as you to be there. And going back to what you were saying, Corinne, about ROI, dollar to dollar match, I think a lot of times we think of ROI in dollars, but so much of our ROI is time,
Right.
right? And if you can get your ROI back in minutes or hours, that's just as valuable because, time is money. And that's something we can never get back. You can't buy more time ever. So, if you can learn a process or a strategy or something that gets you back, an extra hour every week, to me, that's invaluable.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Absolutely.
I mean, I can remember sitting on the sofa at that event, talking with one of the other attendees, and I'm a huge Airtable nerd, and come to find out she was too. And I was very proud of my Airtable system, but she's showing me hers, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I never thought of doing this that way, and it changed things for me. I mean, just something so small like that little nugget made such a big change for me. And it was
Right.
just
Yeah.
something that was mentioned in passing as you're, sitting on a sofa sharing a big fluffy blanket.
Well,
Yes,
to that
yes.
point of measuring ROI in something other than dollars, like time, absolutely, and I'm so stingy with time. Like that one speaks to me like directly. But Tara, to the point of what you do at your retreat, that I think, or your experience, because I do think that's a better word
Yeah.
for it. I think paying for access, right? Like there are things that you can't pay for access to in a lot of cases,
No,
right? Like I,
no.
outside of like I know that probably other people can go to that spice market, but what you wouldn't even know to look for it, right? Like so getting access to
Yeah.
someone else's perspective, ideas, and then the actual doors that they unlock for you to go do things like
Yeah.
that or to get into Hearst Publishing and go see behind the scenes. Like
Or
those
that
things you can't put
taco
a
bar.
dollar amount on.
Yeah.
Yeah. That taco bar she took us to. Little tiny place, but like where else are you having a New Yorker showing you the ins and outs of New York.
Ah,
Like all the good places that are not the tourist traps that you're going to see if you just, do your own research and plan your own trip. Like we went to some amazing, and I don't think we ate the same cuisine twice.
No, I don't think we did
Ever.
either.
It
It's
that's
so
amazing.
fun.
it
New
was so
York
much
is
fun.
one of the few places you can do that, like quite easily. You could not do
Yeah.
that where I am in Stafford, Virginia.
Yeah,
Like,
but
No.
definitely not in northeastern Pennsylvania. Scranton, Pennsylvania does not have the
Right.
same
And
opportunity.
I don't know. It wasn't you, Christina. I sat next to someone when we went out to lunch for Indian food, and they had never
Oh,
had
that was
some,
me.
that was you. You'd
oh,
That
never
was me.
had some of those dishes and
Yeah.
flavors, and it was so fun to like be part of that with
Yeah.
you. And you'll take that home and you're like, "Oh my gosh, now I know I can make a curry because I know what it's supposed
Mhm.
to taste like."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like there were so many experiences. I'll be the first one to say too, that was my 50th year, and one of the things on my bucket list was to finally see a New York Broadway show because I had never like I live so
Mhm.
close. I've been to New York so many times. You would think I would have done it. I didn't. So I got to check something off of my life bucket list too. So that
Mhm.
was kind of cool. But yeah, so when you're looking at different events to go to, look at those kinds of things. Evaluate, who's going to be there, who's organizing it. Don't
mhm.
just look at the monetary investment, but look at what you're getting back in time and in
Experience.
learning,
Yeah.
experience. I mean, I felt like after that event, we didn't do it, but we should have set up accountability groups with each other to hold
Yeah.
each other's hands through everything. That's going to be my goal for this year.
Oh,
But
perfect.
yeah, but like setting things up like that where you can, then form those other groups and, get tight with people. But I know even this year when I went to Tastemaker, I knew so many more people there because of that retreat.
Yes, yes. And I hope, and brands, and
Yeah,
also seeing aspects of brands coming in and talking to you in person
yeah,
so that you can say, oh, this is the person I'm going to be creating this several $1,000 partnership with.
right.
And now we know each other and we trust each other and she knows my content and
Hmm.
et cetera, et cetera. I think that to me is one of the great things because in my career, in my experience living and working in New York City, I have access to most of those PR firms and brand events and things like that. I already have those relationships. And
Right.
they're so valuable to me in my business rather than just an email with somebody that
Yeah.
doesn't know
Hmm.
me, I don't know. And so it offers you a few of those little experiences that are
Yeah.
kind of, you
And
know,
that's very unique for a smaller event, like
Yeah.
smaller in terms of attendees,
mhm.
right? Like you don't see that a lot, I feel like at the typical retreat. Like that's typically a conference thing where
Right.
you're,
Yeah.
coordinating directly with brands.
Yeah. And, it came from when I was a magazine food editor. I would be wined and dined, by brands. And there was this PR company that would take us on weekend trips, and it was called maybe the summer house or the fall house. And they would bring editors rather than bloggers to this house, and it was kind of like a retreat, but that wasn't the word they used. And you were kind of forced to listen to brand presentations at every meal. Every event was sponsored by some brand, and so the PR people were coming in, and it was like very intensely presented at us because they had us,
Right.
in this little group. We couldn't go anywhere. And I thought, well, that's a benefit for the brands. And
Hmm.
so starting this business, sure, I want a great retreat with my blogger friends, but I also want it to be a benefit to these brands that I'm partnering with
Right.
and that are going to eventually get
Hmm.
benefit from partnering with
Yeah.
other bloggers. So, yeah, a lot of different experiences and aspects went into creating Foodie Creatives. And I hope, yeah, that everyone gets something different and amazing out of it.
Yeah. And if you're shy, if you're an introvert, don't be afraid. Really, I mean, I don't know how to say that enough. I mean, don't be afraid to do it. I just kind of did it like on a whim. I filled out the application, I'm like, hit send. It's too late to take it back now. And, when I got accepted, I'm like, oh no, now I've got to like share a room and like all this. Like I started thinking about that but when I got there, it's like all that went away. And
Yeah.
bloggers and influencers, we really are. We're nice people. I think genuinely we're all pretty nice and open and accommodating. And there was none of that. Like once I got there, it was like all that went away. Like
Yep.
it was like I never even experienced it. So don't be afraid, I guess is what I'm getting at. Don't be afraid to try an event if you haven't done one. Find one that suits you and, just tell yourself you're going all in and you're just going to experience it. I promise you, like if you go to Tara's event, you will not be sorry.
That's
I
It's
love
awesome.
it. Well, thanks. I'm excited for the spring. So last few spots are open.
yeah.
Jump in.
All right, so that is at foodiecreatives.com, and we will make sure to put the link to that
Mhm.
in the show notes. But it's also easy to remember,
Yeah.
foodiecreatives.com.
And I'll be there. So you could always go and you can say hi to me.
Yes,
You can,
yes.
if you're a listener, like me. So,
And
you
wouldn't it be fun to meet you in person?
true, true. I'm so much fun. No, I'm just kidding.
It
I
is
am just
Yep.
kidding. I'm not that full of myself at all. So Tara,
true.
if our listeners want to learn more about you and what you do, we mentioned your website. Where should they go to get to know you or to ask questions?
Probably Instagram first. That's where both I share my business and food and recipes, but also little tidbits about myself. And I just think that's an easy entry point into meeting somebody in the industry. Send me a DM,
Hmm.
ask me a question on, a question story or something. But make a connection. I love making new connections on Instagram because do you find that sometimes your Instagram friends that you've met and you kind of comment on each other's stuff and then you meet them at a retreat or you meet them at a conference, you're like, oh, I feel like I already know you and this is easier and great. So those are great relationships for me. I love that. But then also tarateaspoon.com is my blog and obviously a lot about me there.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Tara.
Thanks
If
for
you,
having me.
it was our pleasure. If
Definitely.
you want to take action about anything we talked about today, go check out Foodie Creatives Retreat. Check out any retreat, really, like get out there, get yourself networking with people, whether it's a mastermind, a summit, a retreat, a conference, whatever you want to call it. Just get out there and network, and let us know how you're implementing what you learned today.
Yes. So tag us on Instagram at the Smart Influencer. Let us know if you're headed to a retreat, a summit, a conference. Like we'd love to know what you guys are attending and what you like about them, what you wish was different. Drop us a DM. Just let us know what you're up to.
Yep. And thank you for spending time with us today. We will be back next week with another episode to help you grow smarter, work less, and of course, earn more. See you then.